I'm a dude, and I'm inviting you to join me on a podcast about brews.
Does that include stouts?
Yes, of course it includes stouts. Like I was saying, join us every Saturday on the journey into...
Wait a minute. Do you guys do anything about, like, IPAs?
Yes,
Stuff like that?
yes, we do IPAs.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, join us on the Journey into Comics Network for Brews with Dudes.
Whoa, hey, have you guys ever... Do you care if I bring some Zima on?
Yes, I care if you bring Zima. Zima doesn't count. Zima's... Dr. Dongo. Anyway, join us every Saturday for a podcast that delves into the craft brew world.
The following
Journey into Comics.
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 Network. Production.
Yes, it all started out as a mild curiosity in the junkyard. Now it's turned out to be quite a great spirited adventure.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
You're calling the butler. I'm very partial to tea and muffins.
What's wrong with being childish? I like being childish.
Before I go, I just want to tell you were fantastic.
Never trust a hug. It's just a way to hide your face.
That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
Why are you pointing your screwdrivers like that? They're scientific instruments, not water pistols.
GallifRadio! Yes, this must be where I live.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of GallifRadio. We're on the first season here. It is episode 11. It is a brand new year. It's a series finale, season finale of our show. I am your host, Nate. Today, joining me back, as always, my companions, Sarah and Veronica. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Hi.
Doing good. We're drinking some coffee, getting alive here. Happy New Year's.
We got settled in after a delicious pizza.
Oh my God, we had the best pizza today. It was perfect.
This is not a Foodies Watching Movies episode where we're talking about House of Pizza and how good it is, but...
Once again, House of Pizza reigns supreme.
It's well known on the network.
Sorry.
Ooh, a little D sliding in there.
Man,
yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Tenacious D lately,
Yeah,
guys.
it's the soundtrack of our lives.
Currently, yeah.
Yeah.
The first album is so good.
I know. We've been listening to it a lot. Let's just leave it at that.
I mean, I really don't want to leave it at that. That album's nearing 20 years old.
Very true.
Isn't that crazy?
They're like they're in their Santa phase.
They're tangling ass grandpas.
They're tangling ass grandpas.
Tangling.
Aw, the D.
D is tangling. Love them.
But yeah, this is not what this show is about. This is the season finale of the first season of GallifRadio.
We did it.
A Whovian podcast. Yeah. So we celebrated New Year's by watching the New Year's special of Doctor Who. And we're going to talk about it.
Resolution.
It's going to be spoilery, so if you haven't seen it, you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Correct. Yeah. Well said.
Who wants to talk about it first?
I guess it's interesting to me to think about this episode because they should not have given us the giveaway for the big bad of the episode. I would have loved to go into that a little more blind.
Yeah, that would have been great to not know that it was a Dalek-centric episode.
I feel like that was the one maybe small, if we're checking points here, that's the first points they get taken off, was giving it to me in the teaser. It's like, okay, cool, yeah, you did it in your final episode of this first season here, but maybe it's too little too late.
I don't know. I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't like the music again. I thought the music was very Hollywood, and it was very, forcing me to feel again. And I don't like that. I don't like to feel.
We've established our position.
Yeah, we've talked in great detail on the show about our disdain for the current musical choices on this current iteration of Doctor Who.
I'm not going to apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to. We are all entitled to our own opinions.
It was definitely the one thing that took me out of this episode overall, was the fact that there were some spots where that music was not matched up with what was going on, or how I think I would have interpreted those moments.
Right. But I got to say, I really liked the story. I thought the acting was good. I liked that it focused more on just the Doctor and less the ensemble. Like, there was some bullshit that I didn't need, like the whole backstory with Ryan's dad and all that. I mean, I know it's there, whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. I guess I'm just tired of complaining and nitpicking about it. I want to like it, guys. I really want to like it.
Do you think we're going to have to go back now that we've seen Jodie Whittaker's first complete season and go, let's rewatch it? Start all over again from the top and go with fresh eye, because we know we like her as the Doctor. There's no question.
Yeah, but do we need to?
There's no continuity there that's making me want to go back and search for things.
That is true.
I mean, I don't have. There wasn't the Easter eggs that normally you go, oh, that's what. Oh, yeah, and then you go back and you see things in a different light. I feel like it's been very transparent the whole time, so I don't need to go back and see anything else. I just know that I've been there already. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Strange,
I agree.
I guess.
I totally agree. And it's not to say that it's because I don't like it, because I do like it. I liked this current season. Overall, the whole season was good, but it just feels like I'm ready to see what's going to be next, because they've established the ensemble, they've established the relationships, they've established the fuck out of the characters. So it's like, we get it, guys.
Now we can
let's have some adventures.
Let's put him in high stakes, something that's a little bit more.
Let's make it bring it back to Doctor Who,
Yeah,
which is why I liked their attempt with the Daleks.
Let me say something. I guess it's related to this. What I did really enjoy and have been enjoying the whole season is that the Doctor is very willing to just take people onto the TARDIS.
Yes.
Yeah, that's different.
And I think that is a good thing. I think that's an old school kind of idea, just like, just come on board. And they're just like, oh, what? Cool. I guess I'm on this spaceship. But I liked that there was a whole, like, entourage of people that were just on the TARDIS this time, just like there. Mm-hmm. And they all had a reason. And she was like, okay, everybody's... But, yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I
agree.
That's interesting to note, because I was going to say something along those same lines, that having them just kind of jump on, and it goes back to the way that the Doctor, I think, used to think, less considerate of everyone else, more about himself, or herself, I guess, as it were. Like, come on the ship, I don't care, it doesn't affect me that you're on the ship, because you're going to leave and have to live your boring life, and have this awesome memory, like, forever implanted, and not, whatever.
I was just thinking about it, and I think the reason that you liked that aspect of this episode was because it was really reminiscent to the old Doctor Who, classic Who, that was like unit heavy, like where
members of unit would get pulled in,
right? Where it was more of not just the Doctor and one companion; it was a whole crew, like unit, like how
the Brigadier.
Yeah, the Brigadier
Company.
It wasn't quite such an exclusive club. I
That's
mean, even though it is.
It really reminded me of John Pertwee's seasons as the Doctor.
I love that you brought up Unit, considering there was a beautiful tip of the hat in the episode to Unit, being apparently Brexit has affected Unit, and they don't have funding now.
Yeah,
so,
it's very interesting.
How political.
Kate Stewart is MIA. I kind of loved that scene, if we can talk about parts of the thing that wasn't like the main story, that little sub-story of her calling and trying to get a hold of Unit, and the lady answering the phone and just be like, how can I help you? Like, one moment, where can I take you, or whatever. Like, I don't know, just like, it set it apart because it took the serious out of it just for a second.
It's
like,
very British.
It's something that could really happen, though. Like, you call and you're expecting a thing.
Very
and,
bureaucratic.
Oh, fuck. That thing is not there anymore. What do we do? Looks like we're on our own. Maybe we really should take it back to the start and kind of give them a little bit
get into the episode.
just a little bit here and there as we continue to dissect our thoughts and things we liked. But the very start of the episode is essentially 9th century Earth dissecting a great enemy in 3 parts, chopping this enemy into 3 parts and hiding it in different parts of the Earth. Okay. We got like one's in England, one's on
an island,
one's in Russia. Yeah, correct. So they're all supposed to hide their thing underground and like have it buried or whatever and protect it.
Question.
Sure. Answer.
Did anything ever happen to the other
I
bodies?
was just thinking the same
They
thing.
never
I was
wrapped that
wondering about that the whole time. Is
Yeah.
this like...
Other bodies.
Are there 3
other-
Daleks, or are there 3 body parts, or are there...
It was
There's just-
3 parts of the same Dalek
And
that
just the
temporal
one part-
shifted together. That's because the ultraviolet light that goes over it
It
activated
temporal
it.
shifted together.
Correct.
So they're not still out there.
No, that's why the things that were in the bags, you see it like quickly disappear and stop moving because of
Well,
that.
yeah.
Well, that's not what I
was-
saw. I just saw a flash, and then they cut
Yeah,
to
me
another
too.
thing. I
They
didn't
did
realize
it-
that's what
I
happened.
think they did a poor job of that. I mean,
I
I
was
was
a little shady.
I was like
a little-
really focused in like what the fuck is going on here, but
Yeah, I liked the beginning of it. It felt like I was watching like a cool movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was good, like a historical movie. Or
it almost
something.
like at first I was like, did I download the wrong thing? Like, are we watching the wrong things as Doctor Who? But
yeah, I
it
liked it.
definitely
I
was.
liked it. I felt like once I remembered the like we were watching the beginning, I was like, "What the fuck are we watching?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's supposed to be Daleks, right?" And then I was like, "Oh man, that's gonna be bitchin'."
So
And it
to
kinda
note
was.
when I think so. I loved the episode. If just to break that down, but they like I said, they cut it up into 3 parts and they separated it on the globe. The third guy though that was in Sheffield doesn't make it to like a place
bury
to
his site.
bury and guard his thing, so he just kind of dies and gets covered up with time. Time
Conveniently
is
enough.
the great
Just leave
enemy.
him.
And I love that transition where it was like his body, and then they were at the dig site, like in just a breath. Like
Yeah, I kind of felt like we were watching like a mummy movie, and that was
yeah,
fun.
a little bit, yeah.
I was a history major, so that shit's fun for me.
And then we meet Mitch and Liz.
Yeah, I think so. We just watched it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Liz.
It was an L name. I'm bad
I'm
with.
terrible
Liz.
with names.
I think it's Liz.
I'll do a little looking up while you guys dive further into them and what happens on the dig.
Well, I thought for sure one of them was going to die.
Yeah, we were kind of banking
Yeah.
on it. We're like, so which one of them's going to go first or both?
Yeah. You know.
I don't know. Like, and then as soon as like the chick meandered off to search for the missing Dalek little guy, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
she's definitely in for it.
Why did
But
she
wasn't.
touch it? Why did she touch it?
For
If
real.
you see some weird, crazy thing on the wall, I'm not touching it. I'm not just reaching my hand out and, like, you know, ET phone home,
Yeah,
slow
for
point.
real.
I'm not doing that.
It's almost as if she was
No.
asking for it.
Correct. This is like a horror movie logic, you know?
Yeah, for real. You don't touch it.
Like,
You see a squid on the wall
Or
in
you-
a catacomb under a fucking building. You don't touch it.
Yeah, at least if you're gonna touch it, go get the backup that's like, 20, 30 feet behind
Yeah,
you.
for real. Just
you
be
know?
like, hey, I'm going to touch something. Come help me.
Or at least cry out, there's
Yeah.
something, come and get me. Like, anything. Like,
I'm pretty sure if I was walking and saw something like that on the wall, my first words out of my mouth would be, "Holy shit, guys, come
right,
here now!"
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, anything.
Because
Like-
you're not living in a horror movie.
No, why are people so blind to that? Like,
Yeah.
I guess maybe in a crisis they're terrible, but I feel like if something like that really happened to us, we would be more prepared than just like, oh, I'm going to be stupid and touch this thing. I have no idea what it's going to do to me.
Right.
Yeah, that seems like lazy writing to me. I said it.
Oh.
You did say lazy writing.
Well, yeah, so this creature, like, touches her, apparently. We're not shown, right?
We were one letter off.
What?
Her name was Lynn.
Lynn.
Lin, not
Lynn.
Liz.
Sure. Whatever.
Oh.
Anyways.
That's how much I care. Okay, so Lynn gets the squid billy thingy attached to her.
It was a squid billy. It was a pretty rough looking Dalek.
Squidward attaches to her, and she takes it home
Yeah.
unannounced to everybody else.
Pretty horrifyingly though. It was like
that was gross.
churns up her
Puppeteering
brainstem.
her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shoots its little tentacle right into
you
her
will do
bottom
as
of her
I
skull.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all for possession little story. It's all right with the I
Parasitic
liked the
possession.
hybrid story line with the Daleks there. That was quite. It was a different spin. I mean, how do you come up with something different for the
Right.
Daleks? I mean, the whole.
You come up with an ancient Dalek that's different than the other Daleks they
Essentially,
face,
that
so that
didn't
way it creates, loopholes for the plot,
I love the idea that they sent different versions of different like ability Daleks out, because that means you can have other returning foes that have never yet existed.
The recon scouts.
Correct. Like, I mean, that's
yeah, they set it up pretty well to have something in the future for Doctor Who with a Dalek.
Definitely.
Because they always do. They always do. Like she said on the show, she's like, they always come back. Like, I'm always facing them. It's always me.
It's me versus them every time.
Mm-hmm. It's personal. Yeah, I liked that. I liked that it was a good callback to Doctor Who.
This one felt more like Doctor Who.
It did. And we've been bitching this whole time, and it finally yielded.
Someone wrote, as I was looking up the name of Lynn, I saw Sci-Fi or somebody had put that felt more like a finale than the Battle of Ranskoroth Koloss.
Yeah, because it had a different feel. It had like the words, the locations that would come up on the screen.
Yeah, it felt more like a Christmas special.
Yeah,
like a classic Christmas.
Felt
special.
like it had finality to it in that way.
Yeah, and it also tied up good loose ends. We have more of a story arc on Ryan building his relationship with his father and like that growing again.
And I like that it didn't leave on a cliffhanger. I like that it didn't end terribly. It was a happy ending.
It's unfortunate that we won't see anything until this time in 2020.
Shit, for real?
Mm-hmm, correct. There will be no more Doctor Who this year because, listen, and this is the thing I've been saying a couple episodes across, Chris Chibnall is having a hard time getting the rhythm or the cadence of filming, or his ideas are too big or whatever it is down. Them asking for 10 episodes in a season for him to film in 6 months is too much for him. And he said, look, give me a year. Says Chris Chibnall. And he said, look, give me a year and we'll have something special in 2020. So hopefully he takes his time. He goes back into the old bag of tricks, thinks about characters we know and love, thinks about villains we need to see again.
Do you think they would premiere with a Christmas special?
Maybe, but maybe a New Year's special. It seems like maybe that's the new tradition. And you know what? Honestly, I'm going to go out there and say it. I liked it so much more that Christmas wasn't attached to this. It made it feel way less cheesy as a whole. I was way more invested immediately.
It was good.
Because Christmas was wiped from it. It was just, hey, it's a brand new year.
You're right. Yeah.
So
I don't know if it's because Christmas was wiped from it, as you say, but I think it was because it was different.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like they were forcing it because you had like all these Christmas episodes with the abominable snowmen or crazy Santa Clauses or attacking Christmas trees. Like, it's like force fed that it's Christmas.
Right.
So this is this really beautiful.
It was nice. They just kind of alluded to it at the beginning. They're like, yeah, well, which was your favorite fireworks display for New Year's? And they like had been traveling around celebrating different New Year's for however long they'd been doing it. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was different.
I would love to see a doctor, not maybe Jodie, because that'd be hard to do, but I would love to see a doctor pick up his companion like day one, his or her companion day one, and their entire arc take place on day one. Because they're on the TARDIS, they're in a time machine. They can go back to that same day in time and just keep living in time, and then jump to an adventure and come back, jump to another adventure and come back, and like show like genuinely like wear on these people because they're living other lives.
Yeah, and seeing them age and when they come back to the point in time that they were taken.
So then by the time the season is over, like say a character, Jackie Tyler, is a good example, is like, what happened when I saw you this morning, Rose? You looked like you were 20. Now you look like you're 47. What the fuck?
Right.
You know, like what has happened? And then it's like, well, time has aged them because of this whatever. And then that's another thing the doctor has to try to fix is.
That'd be cool.
I don't know.
That sounds like some fun fan fiction.
That's just me fan writing in the moment here.
Yeah, something happened.
Back to this episode, though. So we had Aaron, which is the father to Ryan, show up and try to make amends for not being there for Nan's funeral and not being there for Ryan pretty much at all. And they really, I mean, I love that the doctor was just like pretty much just like nut slapping him. Just like, bam, take it, dog.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you didn't show up to Nan's funeral and that makes Ryan very unhappy. The first words out of her mouth. Just like, oh, guilt.
He let him down.
Yeah, you know.
She's like, oh, you're the guy who let him down.
Yeah. Oh.
But then later,
Right,
there's
welcome.
again, the full circle to that character is later he becomes very useful to their cause.
Right, and Ryan ultimately forgives him.
And she recognizes that. The doctor says, like, hey, Ryan's dad, you're quite useful, like with this techie shit. And Ryan's
How
dad.
about that?
And it's interesting because it also, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but that little bit of Ryan's dad taking apart that toaster oven and doing the thing for the doctor proved he wasn't bullshitting Ryan earlier in the episode by saying, no, this isn't just something I'm selling. My friend made this. I helped him make this. I put this together with him. This is the best thing that exists. He knew it inside out. And then it's proved when he's like, give me my oven. I'll take this shit apart and fucking show you.
Convenient.
You know,
enough.
it was a good MacGuffin. I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you get to say a microwave is a MacGuffin?
Not often.
I mean,
I guess I kind of like that a broke down microwave beat a Dalek.
yeah.
It's kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
Like, but can we talk about how reckless the doctor was at least
Please.
twice
Yes.
in this episode? Because that, speaking of the microwave at the end, like, not even like, I don't know if they had that plan all along, that they just, like, they look pretty shell-shocked.
No,
you know?
I don't think that they knew
But-
that was the plan.
Oh, at the end with
when
Aaron?
they just start running.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That could have, clearly, that Dalek could have just started, like, exterminating everybody in the room.
Oh, yeah, they knew about that plan.
That just seems like crazy reckless to me.
Yeah.
It was definitely reckless. However, I think that the doctor had one thing on her side there. Knowing this Dalek was not at full strength, it doesn't have full casing. It is just a hybrid of itself.
It's still a gamble.
But it's also been
gamble.
essentially hibernating for centuries, so it's not as up to speed on everything
and banking
Daleks
on the
even
fact
can
that
do.
it would chase her and not the group. But still, then later on, opening up the TARDIS doors and like
fucking supernova.
Yeah. Like, and then why weren't they holding on beforehand? Why didn't she tell them to hold on before?
There's a vacuum in space.
You know?
It'll fucking suck your face.
Yeah, like even just shouting, hold on, before you open the doors.
Right.
You know, nothing.
I think she was just trying to to stun it so it wouldn't be like prepared or something. I don't know.
Correct. It was the element of
But
surprise.
it's a Dalek. It wouldn't
Yeah.
have known what hold on meant.
So we just pretty much skipped to the end here. Essentially, the Dalek gets sucked out into the vacuum of space into a giant supernova, and all is well in the world. And it was a good episode of Doctor.
There's still so much more to talk about,
Yeah,
though.
I know, just kidding.
Because you got to talk about the one thing that's interesting is, like you guys said, at the beginning, Len gets possessed, and ultimately, Sarah, you had a great question, and I need you to also you brought up. First of all, I want to say, I do believe the Doctor is definitely reckless in the second example that you brought up.
Yeah.
Like Aaron going to just get sucked out into the vacuum of space, letting
she was
Ryan just recklessly run. She didn't even say, no, Ryan, don't. Like, she's just like, well, if they both get sucked up out into space, at least they have each other.
Right.
You know, like, at least they're freezing together.
Yeah, we got this whole crew of people now, so it's cool.
My best friends.
It's not a big deal, but like the other issue you brought that was interesting is the fallout of Lynn being possessed by the Dalek and the Path of Terror.
Yeah, because this girl that got possessed by the Dalek earlier on, these are
the
parts that we
archaeologist.
skipped. Yeah, the archaeologist goes on a friggin' killing spree, right?
Yeah, nobody brings up the fact that she murders a couple of policemen and like a junkyard guy.
Yeah, like murders several people,
And the guard
blows out
of
all
the-
the cameras. You know, there's clear evidence of this girl going around and just doing terrible things. And then she's just like, okay, bye, doctor. At the end, like they're just on
holding hands
Earth.
with her boyfriend.
Yeah, like nothing is going to happen to
Peace
her.
out.
What
Like
is this
us.
universe?
Maybe something will happen to her. Maybe that's an interesting angle to look at. Like, what happens if the Doctor comes back in like 4 months and they see a newspaper with Lynn on trial and they're like, what? Lynn on trial?
Right.
What? And she's like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Like, we have to
Well,
go back.
Since they're getting so nitty gritty on all these characters, you know, it's like a bit of a loose end.
You know,
in
I
my
felt
opinion.
who was lost in the shuffle in this episode a little bit. Yaz. I don't feel like she really played a major role in doing much of
She was just
She was
there.
like the gopher.
She was
like
kind
the
of
go-to guy.
That's funny. Graham called himself a gopher in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just kind of backup.
Yeah, she's had her character heavy episodes though.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I feel like Ryan has been like the most focused character aside from the Doctor, really. the arc of him bonding with Graham, him bonding with his father, him losing Nan, him and the doctor's relationship, him and Yaz's relationship.
Like was like the first companion.
He's like lead companion.
I don't know.
But it wouldn't seem like that. You would almost think Graham just because of age.
He's just had more storylines than all the other ones. But I don't think he's more important than any of the other ones, in my opinion.
Well, can I say this? Why, if they were going to keep dragging on with the Nan storyline, why didn't they have us as an audience spend more time with that character? I mean, we got like a little blip of this Nan character. I don't care about Nan.
I think it's because those men were like ready to, because those two boys, Graham and Ryan, they had another female figure to like follow around in the doctor, like it was just like, how else were they gonna?
Otherwise, they were going to be lost.
I'm talking from like a writer's perspective.
Right.
If you're going to have this character that's just they're dragging through the mud, as it were, as this baggage all the way through the show, and you're going to have all of these story arcs that are emotionally heavily based on this character. Why did you not let the audience develop that character a little more before you offed her? That character should have had at least 4 or 5 episodes before they killed her off if they were going to make this big a deal about it. That's where it feels lost on me.
That's what I was going to say, is if I was going back to do it.
Maybe you're right. But
at least 2.
But yeah, at least a few, so that since
at
they're...
at least you care when she dies.
Right.
Because they kill her off so early, it's like, oh, all right, well, we hardly knew ye.
Right, and then they're just like, why are they still talking about her? Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
like, guys, get over it.
Right. They didn't give us enough time to form an attachment to that character as a viewer.
I feel like Chibnall maybe bought in and decided on the Tim Shaw storyline way too early and should have given it one episode. I think he should have had like more of an introductory episode. Then after the doctor's established in that first episode, in the second episode when she's taking Graham and Grace, Ryan, and Yaz all on like a one-off adventure, that's when Grace dies. Oops. We were out doing a thing where she shouldn't have been.
Yeah, but the whole Tim Shaw thing is the whole reason that they were even meeting her together.
Yeah, I know, but I think
just the way that it happened.
Maybe they should have had Tim Shaw appear in the second episode, though, is what I was kind of more saying.
I see.
Yeah. And then use him as the crux.
Circumstance.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. I just think it was poorly executed. They could have,
maybe,
found
we had a lot
way.
of complaints about this season, but there were a lot of things that we did like about it, and I don't know. I think moving forward, seeing as we're not going to be getting any new Doctor Who until 2020, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have enough time to finally finish watching Peter Capaldi's seasons of Doctor Who so I can catch the fuck up.
Yeah, and I'll have time to develop a little music segment for next time, like I've been talking about.
Maybe what we can do is do a couple GallifRadio, since this is we're currently calling this the finale. Maybe we can do some GallifRadio specials like Doctor Who throughout the year where we talk about the catch-ups, and those will be exclusive to Patreon if we do decide to do them. So got to give us $1 and get that early access and exclusive content. That's what we're talking about, to check those out. And then maybe they'll get utilized somewhere in Season 2. We'll have to figure that out. But overall, I'm really stoked that they brought a classic villain back.
Me too.
And I love that it was the Daleks. And that it was a Dalek, a singular Dalek, was super effective in this story. He even went so far as to attempt to create a signal to bring more Daleks to Earth. But here's an interesting thought. I don't know if you guys put this in your head at all. This Dalek that was sitting there from the 9th century that had just been rotting away in time most likely was not a part of the Time War and doesn't know what all has happened.
Right.
No, not most likely, definitely.
I mean, is clueless to the true devastation of what his race, the Daleks, have gone through time and time and time and time and time and time again. I mean,
well, now he'll never know.
Well, correct. Or will he? See, that's another thing. Temporal shift. Temporal shifted his ass from all those 3 different places to come back together. He's going to the heart of a supernova, and he's not going to think to temporal shift one last time.
I don't know.
Get out of here.
I don't know.
Do you know what I liked about the fact that they finally used a Dalek?
What it is.
Okay. We haven't gotten anything classic this whole season, right? And this is the only thing we're getting is one Dalek, like you said. Isn't it funny that the first reboot, Christopher Eccleston season, had the episode
Dalek.
One Dalek started the whole shebang-a-bang. One singular, like they encountered the one Dalek down in the facility that rich guy had, And
Van Horn.
Granted, that Dalek ends up seeing the sun, and like Rose has compassion for it or whatever in some part of her mind, that whole thing. But really, that's your first introduction,
Oh,
He's
yeah.
one Dalek to the whole thing. So I think that's kind of, maybe they didn't intend to do that,
But a good segue to the next season.
Yeah, I think that's fitting that it was just one Dalek, in this true reboot of the series,
So in season 1 of Jodie and Chibnall, we got a singular Dalek. I raised the stakes and asked this question to both of you, and I'll answer it after you guys answer. But in the following season, our quote-unquote season 2 of these two in 2020, if you could bring one other classic villain back, and I'm guessing that you guys are probably going to be on the same page, but who knows, maybe not.
I've already got mine.
Okay.
The Silence.
Oh, yes.
That was going to be mine too.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just so. I mean, I don't know how. I know they defeated the Silence, with that whole,
There's the church, yeah, and they don't really. Okay,
they
so
send out the.
You're talking about the day of the moon, which is when 11 defeats them, and he sends the message out to everybody on Earth who's watching the moon landing that these things exist and they're the enemy and kill on sight.
Yeah, the kill on sight.
Right.
But I feel like after that there had to have been some that went in hiding from something like that,
But that is verified if you remember when we get to the end of the 11th Doctor story arc, and there's the church and the church where everybody's naked, but the clothes are like they're faked on, and 11 and Clara go there, and there are the Silence, and they keep saying the Silence will fall because they are sent back through the crack to connect the time, and the Silence are always essentially searching out the Doctor because those were the truth seekers, and there were rogue few that went after him. So it'd be interesting to see another group of Silence that are maybe slightly different. Maybe they aren't all in suits. Maybe there's something, totally.
I don't know.
I want like more of an origin sort of thing for them.
That would be interesting.
Because really they just were dropped into the universe as is, and you're just like, oh, what the fuck, like. Yeah, and then
things are fucking creepy.
Oh, how do we defeat this thing that's ancient? Okay, like I would be interested to know, like, what does a young Silence look like? What is a little youngling?
They got more hair.
Like, what is it? Yeah, how do they evolve? Like they don't. I mean, do they just manifest like that? Like what are they?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Real quick, I want to just talking about the Silence made me think about another character I'd love to see return. It's been way too long, but can we get the return of the Ood?
The Ood.
Please.
The Ood.
How to see Jodie with the Ood? Think about how cool that would be.
I think that they've done what they needed to do. I don't know how you could write more for the Ood. You just look at them and you go, bless. Like,
bless your heart.
Yeah, I don't know that.
What about a warring race of Ood?
No, they're just.
I don't know.
They're just the Ood. I just want to pat them on their little Ood head.
Okay.
Their
little squid heads.
I mean, they're kind of like NPCs at this point,
Right,
like they're just there, like, oh, hey, Ood, oh, you've made a comeback for now. Maybe they're a merchant at a store. I don't know,
okay.
like at an Ood store. But I don't think they need another big long storyline after the whole brain thing and the guy that turns into the Ood with his tonic. I mean, bravo, but you can't come. I don't need another one.
I think Peter Capaldi finished it with the Cybermen. I don't expect to see them again
for a while, at least. Yeah. Ooh.
Train
of Our Existence making an appearance on the finale of GallifRadio. Decided to show up. TARDIS Train of Coming Blues. TARDIS Blue of Coming Blues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about villains.
Yeah, I like the idea of a Silence like origin and finding out where they come from and their purpose. That would be interesting. Man,
I don't know how things have ended with the Master, so I'm not going to say I would like to see the Master. But it would be really cool to see Missy with Jodie Whittaker.
Hey, y'all, whatever happened to the adipose planet?
oh my God. There's a whole planet made of fat.
Yeah, they just are like, bye! They just like went off into the
Precious.
sky.
Way to change
But
the subject. Sweet.
I was just thinking about like long gone, like they weren't really villains, but they kind of were by circumstance,
Yeah.
like killing people. But
They were so adorable.
I know. But what happened to them? What did they grow up into? Where did they go
that'd
off
be
into?
interesting. What
Yeah.
like a full size adipose is like? Are they always tiny? Do
What if
get
they grew up
bigger?
into like some warrior race or something? But
Big
like,
blobs.
yeah, and then when you try to kill them, they just like explode. Me, in the little pile of adipose. They're just smiling at you. I
Oh
just
my
think of
God,
like
that's also
evil,
terrifying.
like Adventure Time things when I think about the adipose.
Totally.
Fat
you know?
Ewoks.
Little cartoons.
Fat cell Ewoks.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but I just was thinking about whatever happened to them, after that.
Another
whole
race
send-off.
or a different villain I'd like to see back at some point. The Weeping Angels. I mean, come on. They're
I
just
still
too...
haven't forgiven them.
Yeah, nobody
but
has.
You know what? It's fine. I just think the Weeping Angels are one of the best modern... Like, I tell you what, Moffat, honestly, with all the things he might have gotten wrong in some of the Capaldi series, he ultimately changed the landscape of Doctor Who by creating a couple, like, never-ending villains, being the Silence and the Weeping Angels. I mean... Those are modern villains that stand the test of time now, alongside the Daleks and the Cybermen and Zygons and all those things. So, is it too late to say we should have the Autons back?
The Autons.
Another Nestine consciousness. I mean, we haven't seen anything since the first episode of the new series.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're nearing...
That's true.
We're 15 years in now.
Maybe I'm just over it
that
because
right?
we watched Terror of the Autons and then we watched the first episode of the 9th Doctor, right? Or what was it, season?
Yeah.
And that was like...
Rose.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just over the Autons.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the Sontarans for a while.
Yeah.
As villains, anyways.
Okay, yeah, because since Strax kind of became a sidekick to 11, they totally... And 12... They totally took away them
the
being
Sting,
villains.
yeah.
The Sting. Because they did that.
Yeah.
What was the Axios, right? The breathing car system. That was Sontarans.
Oh, yeah.
Because that little nerdy
That
dude
was,
who like tricked and brought the Sontarans. That was 10th Doctor with Donna.
Yeah.
Grandpa
That was
gets-
the last time they were villains.
Correct. That's what I was saying. That's how far back it's been. So that was
Right.
season 4.
Right.
So it's been a hot minute here.
What about the Sycorax, you guys? Do we want the Sycorax to come back? Do we
I
want
think
them
they're-
to exact a revenge after what David Tennant did to their ship?
That would actually
Maybe
be-
there was like a black box of some kind that floated back
Well, hold
to
on
their
now.
planet
Okay, hold on now.
and told them.
Tennant did not do anything to the Sycorax.
Well, they don't know that, though.
Harriet Jones blew
Right.
them the fuck up.
I know.
So if any of them survived or could send a distress signal, it would take years to get there and then years for them to get
But
back
it's
here.
plausible for them to be
Yes.
an upcoming villain.
Oh
Right.
my God, that would be so clever.
Yeah.
Man, it would also possibly leave some people who are newer Doctor Who fans going, "What the fuck is
Good.
this?"
They can go watch the good Doctor Who. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding, everybody.
No, I agree with you. I agree with
Go
that
watch the good
wholeheartedly.
stuff, children. Anyways. No, I loved the episode with the Sycorax. They were just so like silly warrior, but also really evil. I don't know what I'm saying now.
It's okay. I'm going to let you guys carry on for a second because I'm going to use the facilities in a rare bathroom break moment on GallifRadio.
Too much coffee, Mr. Tully.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
That's just...
Too much coffee. Yeah, we're drinking some damn good coffee. We might need to make another pot of it, though. I feel like I need more.
Well, we don't have any more.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we have
That's
to go
right,
get
I
some
forgot
more.
about that. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. We were just naming villains a minute ago.
Yeah. Do you have any other villains that you want to see coming up to face off with Jodie?
I don't know.
I feel like we've covered pretty much the ones that I'd want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see her face off with the Silence.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that would mean.
I mean, if we're talking villains coming back, we could talk about, old characters coming back. But I don't think they're going to resurrect any of the old characters from the old series.
I don't think they would either. I like that they've been doing little, nods here and there, like the nod to Unit today, on today's episode that we watched. But I don't know. Yeah. It was starting to feel like Doctor Who again, watching today's episode.
Yeah, it had all the right stuff.
It did. Welcome back, Nathaniel.
And I'm back. Welcome back, me.
Yeah.
So we were just concluding our thoughts on this current season.
Yeah, and also that they're not going to bring back. I mean, they might bring back villains, but I don't think they're going to bring back other characters from the old series. Like old companions or different. I
wish.
What's weird though? It's so Doctor Who to do that. Think about Sarah Jane Smith coming back into 10. Why will we never see Captain Jack and the Doctor? That would be an amazing pairing. The Doctor was already someone that Jack was very fond of.
Mm-hmm.
To now
God,
be
could you imagine if Captain Jack came back?
He would be whoa, Doctor,
Whittaker.
look at them hips, and then Doctor would be like, whoa, don't sass me like that, dude.
The shit writes itself. BBC, make it happen.
Yeah.
Kiss.
It's funny, too, because I know for a fact that John Barrowman said, please, I would love to do that.
We need to watch Torchwood, guys. I never finished it.
Yeah, and we also need to catch you up on the Missy Chronicles, because you need to know
maybe we should
where
do
Missy
that tonight
goes.
After you guys finish your
movie. You
movie.
really do need to know, because we need to talk about it.
Yeah, I agree.
The Peter Capaldi
yes,
season?
Yeah,
totally.
That's
Missy
that's
Chronicles.
Missy's. Yeah, that's Missy's season.
All right. Well, since you've labeled it as such, I'm more keen to want to watch it.
I love
Missy.
series 9 and 10. Yeah. It's only 20. We only have 24 episodes left.
I need
of
my
that.
Sabrina fix, so I need some Michelle Gomez in my life.
Yes.
Well, maybe we can watch some of that. We got plenty of time now, since we don't have our show coming back for a while.
That's true. We can finally catch up, and we'll have lots to talk about on season 2 of GallifRadio.
Gosh, that's like a whole year away almost. That saddens me.
Yeah.
But that's that's going to be interesting because I mean to note, it's kind of already been in the plan and in the works here that one of the shows that's been a stalwart of the network is probably not going to come back for a third season, being The Voice of Survival. I'm only going to do 2 seasons of that.
Really?
So when the third season should have dropped would have been January of 2020, and now GallifRadio will be taking its place. So it actually works out exactly how I unintentionally but totally intentionally wanted it to.
Okay.
Like I said, though, if we get to deciding, oh shit, we finished the series of Capaldi and we really want to talk about it, we'll do a special on it. It's not a big deal. Entice people to go over to our Patreon. They really like it. Also, I want to know what people thought about our first season of this show. I do encourage people to go onto our Facebook. We have had people that have been checking us out throughout the year. Tell us what you thought. If you loved what we did for this first season, cool. If we could have done things better, let us know. If there's stuff we didn't cover that you want us to cover, also that.
Yeah, reach out.
All the things.
Overall, I thought this was a fun first season of GallifRadio. I enjoyed it. It was fun talking about Doctor Who. We've been talking about doing it for a long time, so I'm glad we finally just did.
And we talk about it anyways.
Yeah, we talk
Absolutely.
about this shit anyway, so whatever.
And it was a good payoff to watch the Jodie Whittaker series because it, without us even knowing it was not going to do this, it did a great job of staying away from any spoilers whatsoever involving what you haven't yet finished.
True
so
that.
it was like you were able to almost
good
separate and discern yourself from the two and almost watch this as its own entity, which I think was definitely awesome and good for us to be able to talk about all these episodes as they were happening. Funny to note, there were 11 episodes of this season of Doctor Who in Series 11. There's 11 episodes of GallifRadio. It's 11, 11, 11. So all the 11s.
Timey-wimey and shit.
Is there anything else we want to get into before we get out of here?
No, I'm looking forward to season 2. We've got a lot of stuff we've been planning, and we'll make this bigger and better next year.
There's a Doctor Who book we're going to utilize more.
Yeah, we've got lots of plans.
There's a Doctor Who CD we're going to utilize more.
There's some Doctor Who locales we're going to visit.
Who&A, we're coming for you soon. We promise. maybe that'll be a good place to like debut our new series. We'll talk about that off air anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been season 1 of GallifRadio. You guys can check us out at the Journey into Comics network at journeyintocomics.com, where you get all the different shows on our network, with new shows debuting this January, including this Sunday, where you guys will get Dungeons with Dudes, checking out right here on the network, featuring Miss Veronica and myself.
That was hilarious, by
live
the way.
from LaFiCon, playing a game of Dread. It was a lot of fun.
I've never played a role-playing game before, like that, and it was hysterical.
She
I missed it.
She bought into the character, too. She played her character. It was great.
I don't know. I think I could have did better, but I was nervous.
It was good. You did really good, I thought.
It was
Anyways,
fun, though.
so check that out on Sunday, folks. And at the end of January, on the final Friday of January, you'll be getting Crucial Tunes, which will be debuting. Next week, you get the finale of Kids for Sale Season 1. And then after that, the first episode of Season 2 of The Voice of Survival. So all the changes are happening right here in January on Fridays. And this, I think, is going to do it for GallifRadio. You guys, again, can check us out at patreon.com/Journey into Comics. Give us $1. Early access and exclusive content will be all yours for $1 a month. You throw $1 away on other shit, I'm sure. So, I think that's going to do it for GallifRadio, Season 1, Episode 11. I am your host, Nate.
Veronica?
Sarah.
We'll see you guys somewhere in time and space. Later.